Tuesday morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, the 23rd of May, 2017. I have an appointment at 11 a.m., so I'm only going to be able to trade for a little bit here, and then we'll see. So I put 2 limit orders in over the weekend for 2 stocks I was looking at, and both of them have filled. We have LIF right here, which filled at 1802. So you can see this is a 2-day here, just so that we can see sort of the action. So I put a limit order right here, and it filled. And then we have a RBA, which filled at 41.83. So you can see here it had a big gap down here. So I have the limit order filled, and if you look at on this guy, the 3-month, for example, there's all sorts of support here over the days at, between 41.30 and 41.75. I sort of bounced right around this low, and it's had some good up chance over the last bunch of days. So I feel like I'm catching this close-ish to the bottom for all these. So that's where we're at now. Just two trades. I have 2 more limit orders. It doesn't look like they're going to fill. It's not at this moment. Just refreshing it. I do have a limit order on FTT at 25.51, but it's at 25.88 right now on the bid. And I have a limit order on DDC at 7.15, and it's at 17.15, and it's at 17.20 on the bid. So that one might fill, but FTT is unlikely. So I'll just keep my eye on these 2 for the morning, see how they do, see if I can see if I can do okay. Okay, we managed to fill the DDC as well at 17.15 right here. So you can see it's sold off pretty aggressively to get us down to where we want it to be. And for this one, I think the $17 range has got a lot of support right here. So if you see this sort of upswing here up to the $18 mark, we've sold off for several days in a row, and I think this 17.10 here, 17.15 here, and 16.93, all these sort of numbers look like it's gonna get some support in the $17 range. So I'm just gonna keep my eye on these 3. Wow, it's a busy morning to start. FTT, again, it's 40 cents above my limit order, so I doubt that will fill. But I got 3 to start the day. Alright, here's a quick update. It's almost 10 o'clock, so the market's been open about half an hour. RBA has been moving in the right direction. We just pulled through 42, which is good. I'm in at 41.83. LIF has sold off. It sold off down to big sell-off here, and it's starting to rebound. It sold off to 71.92. I do have a max stop loss at 71.17. I have a max stop loss at 17.84, which is just below a low of day aside from the very open. So low of day yesterday. So I think this looks like it's coming back in the right direction. And DDC has pulled up a little bit to 17.16 on the ask, on the bid, and it's sort of frozen. Volume just dropped right down there, so may have hit the bottom at 17.14 and then sort of froze here. So we'll keep our eye on these, but still active in all 3 stocks. And then the 4th one, yeah, it's not going to fill, I don't think. That's 40 cents above my limit order, but I'll keep my eye on it just to be safe. Alright, it's 10 after 10, and Let's see. RBA pushed up, broke through 42, and then it's come back down to 41.90. Just to remind everyone, I'm in at 41.83. LIF has really bounced around $18 for a while. I'm in at 18.02. And DDC, I'm in at 17.15, and it's sort of, again, bounced around my entry point. So I have a meeting at 11. It's about 20 minutes away from here. So I have about half hour left to play, but depending on how this goes, I might put stop losses on these, but not sell them and let them play out for about an hour with me not here. I mean, it's slightly dangerous because if they fly up and then come back down, I'll be frustrated because I didn't sell them. But I think they all have pretty good potential. I think RBA probably has the best potential on the upside. Yesterday it broke 43, and it's, you know, close to where it has been. 2 days ago it almost broke 44, so I think it has a decent upside, and it's below its 20 and 100-day moving averages. LAF I'm not as excited about because although the high day yesterday was 1830, I don't think it's going to have quite the upside. It did break 19 4 or 5 days ago a couple times, but the volume dropped way down and it's not doing too much. And then DDC, I think I can stop loss it fairly tightly in the high 1690s or so, because it's been, the last time it broke below 17 was 12 days ago. So I could probably stop it just above 17 or just below 17 and be pretty happy with it. So another half hour we'll play with it and we'll see how it goes. Alright, I put all three stop losses in place. RBA at 41.48, which is quite a bit lower, but I have some room with it and I think it's got some good upside. LAF, I put a stop loss at 1790, which is just below this sort of low, almost low a day. Like there's a big drop off at the very beginning of the day, but it's close to that. This is the one I'm not as excited about the upside and a little bit more tentative about, so I'm keeping it tight. And then DDC at 1695. So again, it hasn't been below 17 in a bunch of days. So I think if it drops into the 16s, then I don't want it anymore. And there was also well, it's moved around a bit, but there was a pretty big purchase above 1695. So a little bit of protection there. I think it moved down to 1692, but that's okay. So as far as how they're doing, RBA, it's actually pulled up, which is nice. It broke through $42 again. So I like the upside on this. LAF, it's floating around, still around just about $18 and change. And DDC is actually starting to sell off, which is not that good. We broke down below the low of day, and yeah, this one is not looking that great. But I'll keep that stop loss on there, and hopefully it will bounce back. But you can even see here on the level 2, pretty monstrous per sell order at 1710, which is not really a good sign, and tiny orders, tiny numbers going up. So we will keep on keeping on. Yeah, DDC, hopefully it'll bounce off $17 and come back up, or not even get down there at all. But yeah, looks like it's gotta move down a little before it can come back up. We'll see. All right, quick update. 1037. RDA is moving on up to the east side, so this is the one I'm most optimistic about. LIF is still sort of a little bit of movement. Came down to 17.95 and is pushed back up into the $18 or so. We're in at just over 18.02, and then DDC has come back from this low. We're in at 17.15, so that's right around even right now. So I'm going to leave these. I have a meeting. Got to be there for 11, so I'll leave in a few minutes. So I'm going to keep the stops on them, and hopefully they all crush. And when I get back, I'm a millionaire. I'm back. It's 11:30. So LAF we got stopped out of. I'll tell you about that in a minute. I'm just about to sell DDC. It pushed up. It's sitting at 17.36 on the bid. So I'm just keeping my eye open. There's some room for moving up, I think. But I have my finger on the trigger to sell it at market. I only have 600 shares. Just very quickly, LAF tanked off hard. I stopped out right about here. And RBA climbed all the way to 42.36. Come back down to 42.21. Okay, we're up to 17.39. So I moved it down to 17.39. It's a $6 difference between those two numbers. And I'd rather get filled. It just looks like it's been 3 candles in a row that it's been sort of capping out at 17.40. So my concern would be that that does a big sudden sell-off here sometime in the next 5 or so minutes, and then my potential profit would be Gandhi. So I'm here. Any buyers, snap me up. $17.39 was moving like crazy. Ugh, a big number just came on $17.39. So no, 4-cent gap. Yeah, this is sort of what I was afraid of. It's coming down now. Although these numbers are small, it's still looking like I might be moving in the wrong direction. Alright, looks like this one's just gonna not get me out for a while, so I'm gonna pause. Okay, while I was waiting, I entered another stock. It's AYA. It's been bouncing around 25.54 to 25.59. Yesterday it kind of opened and closed at 25.75-ish. And it bounced down to 25.46. It came back up and had a nice green candle and a flat candle. So I'm in at 25.50 exactly. So you can see it's testing this low again just now at 25.46. So AYA, I'll put it in here. Oops, put it in the wrong one. So we're still waiting to fill on DDC. It's just bouncing right around these 35, 36, 37 mark, but limit sell at 39. This hasn't broken through yet. As far as stop loss in this guy, there really isn't much on the low side. 12 days ago it was down to $24.95. So maybe that $25 mark. $25 might be a little rich as far as the stop loss, but we'll see. I'll do some numbers. Let's keep on here. All right, we're into our number again. Let's see if we can actually get filled. It's like AYA bounced off that low of day. Just like to see it pushing back in. 25.55s ish. Still open, still a gap. So it looks like about 25.24 would be the maximum stop loss on this one. There we go. We broke through and filled at 17.39, so DDC is complete. 17.39. It's a $130 profit. So in at 17.15, out at 17.39. Well, that's good. I'll leave this open because if it sells off a little bit, maybe another opportunity. RBA is like slipping a little bit. Volume down a little bit. So AYA, I'm going to put my stop. Yeah, I have no idea on this one. Chunky number, a couple of chunky numbers in here, so maybe 25.33 sounds good. All right, let's put a stop on RBA at 42.15, which is sort of right below this low point, just to protect the profits. If I sell at 42.15, it would be a $146 winner. So I still think this has got room to go up for sure. 42.50 maybe, 42.75 even. Yesterday it pushed up above 43. But I also want to protect. I don't want to see a winner turn into a loser by just letting it ride down. And AYA is right at sort of my buy point. So keep my eye on this one. So it looks like almost right away RBA is testing this low right here at 42.16. So I might stop out of this one at 42.15. So we'll see. Hopefully it rebounds from here. DDC still. Oh, that's bumped up. There you go. So it's moving in a good direction. Obviously, I'm out at 17.39, but I thought I'd keep my eye on it in case it bounced lower. And RBA. Just keep my eye on this. All right, unfortunately, RBA stopped us out at 42.15, and because it tanked so quickly, we actually got out at 42.112. So that trade is complete, and that is a 127 profit. So we didn't stick in for the long run because I do think this has got some longer term upward movement potential. And AYA stopped us out really quick. You can see right here it just tanked right off, big sell off, and stopped us out at 25.26. 25.264. That was another one where we had to stop at 25.33, and we didn't even fill till 8 cents low. That's how quick that loss was. So that's a tough one. That's minus 170 and change. So we're out of everything right now. We're 2 and 2 for the day. Stuck probably $50 or $60 on all of the trades. Our 2 wins were 127, 130, or 2 losses, 144, 179. So back to the drawing board for the day. It's 12:30, and I'm gonna look at the market, see what's going on. So here's one that was on my list that I'm looking at now. 25.67 is the ask. It's the last 3 days. This is right close to the low, and it's down. It opened at just under $26, and it pushed up. So I'm gonna watch. I need to watch the 1 minute for a couple of even or upticks, even, because I think this 25.64 might be a good number, and then you know you can get out sort of at the 25.50 line. So I'm just going to be watching this for a little while, but I think I like it. There's a lot more bidders than sellers down at this level. 25.65. Yeah, it's decent. We put a bid in at 25.64, 25.65. $24. That'll be the current high bid. Okay, so I have a bid in at 25.64. I don't want to buy at market because there's only 200 shares at 25.66, so I would end up paying close to 25.67, which is up here, which I don't love. So hopefully I filled 25.64. Oh, I filled 100 already. Get the numbers in here. FTT. 25.64. Uh-oh, we're bumping up. Damn. I only got 100 out of 1,000 shares filled at 25.64. Now we have some bids 3 levels up from me. Moving up. I'll move this to the live FTT. Oops. Let's get rid of these other guys. Excuse me, get rid of these other guys. Yeah, it's pulling up. Got 100 filled. It's not really very much. It's only $2,500 worth. Well, what I'll do is I just bumped up the rest of it to 25.65. See if it tests back down here again. And then if it doesn't, we have 100 shares. So for FTT, we have a limit in at 25.64, and it looks like it might fill actually. Or do we drop down to 25.65 for the ask? So it's possible to fill. Came up a little bit, and then it's come down a little bit, and then this HVI, it just am looking at. I put a limit order at 2680. It gapped up pretty large today. It's kind of bounced around. It's like kind of the 5-day. But gapped up. This is the 3rd day in a row it's gapped up. But 4 days ago it gapped down from 28.90 down to finish at 23. So it had a $5 sell-off. So it's kind of right in the middle of that upswing, getting back up. And we are just looking to buy it at a deal at 26.80. So we'll see if we fill in that one. All right, just about to buy in EFN. Bought it at 11, almost 11 exactly. So this is the 2-day I'm looking at it. So you see yesterday it sort of fizzled down. Got all the way down to 10.95, came all the way up right before end of day to 11.12 at the high, and then sort of broke down in the morning, came all the way back up to 11.10 again, and now it's come down to 11. So I like the stop here just below yesterday's low of day at 10.96, so maybe 10.94. So it's a pretty tight stop, and I also like this big chunky number at $11. So yeah, I'll pull this up, EFN. It's right at $11 right now. So another update is this FTT. It's dinkled around here. It filled another 500 shares at 25.65, so I now have 600 shares with an average of 25.648. So I can basically sell it now to break-even point. Unless it drops down again, I won't be able to completely fill, but at least now I have a slightly more chunky amount of shares than I did before. So now in EFN at 11, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, I put a stop at 10.94. This is the 5-day on it, so right here is my stop. So it gives me not too much wiggle room, but it's a fairly low dollar stock, and sort of like some opportunities to pull up 10 or 12 cents. So we will see. It's been fairly flat for several days, so this isn't going to be a huge upswing, I don't think, although the volume in the last 3 days has picked up quite a bit. We'll see how it goes. All right, so quick update for EFN. Stopped us out pretty quickly after we got in. We got in at 11 right here, and it took a big turn. Stopped us out at 10.30, 10.939, and we were able to complete our trade of FTT because it came down. So we're in FTT at an average, let me look at that, 25.649. So we're right kind of at the area we got in. And HVI actually, I didn't think we were going to have a chance of this, but it partially filled at 26.80 right here. So I'll keep my eye on that and see if it fills completely. Still partially filled, 400 of 1,000 shares. So yeah, FTT, keep our eye on. EFN obviously stopped us out, so we're done with that one. So we're not 2 and 3 for the day. And we will keep our eye. Hopefully FTT can rebound for us. It's right, just like if you look at the 1 month by day, it's right at the cusp of the low for the last 3 days. And then if you look back here, this area was tested a bunch. Back here, we're right in sort of that low area for the last 19 or 20 days, it's hit this mark again and again, right in the 25.50s and come back up. So hopefully it doesn't break through there, but we will see. Stop of FTT is at 25.49, so we're still well clear of that. I'll see about the HVI stock if we completely fill. We'll see how that goes. And that's where we're at. It's one. Okay, quick update. In HVI now. It dropped down, got me filled. Dropped down to 26.75, so I have a stop on it 26.68, which is right at the low of day. It's a weird stock with like small bids and big gaps, so I might just set a sell limit soon and try and fill it. I'm not sure. It's sort of bouncing around. Then FTT is not really doing too much. It's just sort of, it's pulling up a little bit. It's got to sort of break through, I think, this, 25.68 break through, and then I think there could be some upswing, but it's sort of keeps hitting that 25.67, 25.68, and coming back down. So just keep our eye on that, and I think that'll be it for the day. I do have some stuff to do this afternoon, so once I complete these two last trades, then I think I will call it a day. Alright, we got a little bit of bad news. This HVI just dumped off. It was it's now below the low of day, so it didn't catch at 26.80 at all. It dumped to 26.65, and it stopped us out exactly 26.65, which is exactly the low of the current low of day. So we put our stop right at the low, which is kind of shady, but what are you going to do? I was actually looking at it. It's funny because right here there was a bid at 26.85, and I was looking at maybe I should jump out. It's like a minor profit of 25 or 30 bucks, but it ends up minus 164. Now for this FTT, it's done nothing still bouncing around. So I actually have to get out of here. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a strategy sell, which is an OCO, one cancels other. So you put in two simultaneous bids, and then if one triggers, the other will just cancel. So I have it at a limit sell at 25.94, which is right here just below, a few cents below high of day, so if it does rebound. And then I have another sell stop market at 25.49, which is about 10 cents below the low of day. So yeah, I'm gonna launch that, and if it doesn't fill either way, then I might be in it till tomorrow. But that's the only thing I can do for now because I've got to get out of here.
All right, it is 6:30 and the trading day is over. The final trade ended up holding through until the next day, the FTT. So it pulled all the way up to 25.82. I had a sell at 25.94, closer to the top. It didn't get up there, but it never stopped out. My stop was 25.49, so I'm playing this into tomorrow. But overall, assuming that's a winner, I mean, it's up 25 cents. What did I get in at? Let me just find out my entry point. So I got in at 25.64. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But assuming that's a winner, overall I went 3 and 4. And I think what I'd like to do today is to actually go over each trade in more detail and sort of analyze it after the day, because that's something I haven't been doing, because it's sort of a mental thing. If you sell, whether it's a winner or a loser, you can get frustrated if it bounces back up and then you sold it, or if you sold it as a winner and then it goes up another double your profits. So people tend to just sort of sell it and move on to the next one, not really think about it. But I think as I'm learning, as I'm growing, I think it's important for me to look at each trading opportunity after the fact. So the day started LIF. I'm in at 1802 and at stop loss at 1789. So LIF, this one was interesting. I was in at 1802, so that's right here. And if you look at this before this big drop off, let's see if I can get it to show. You look at that big drop off, or you look at this point, it looked like it had bottomed out around 1896. Earlier on the day, 1792. But that big drop off here stopped me out. So had I been watching it, had I continued on with the day, I may have found value in this 1780, 1785. And even though it touched that again a little bit later on, I certainly could have played that market, played that stock again. On the 2-day, you see 1785. It's getting down there pretty low on the 2-day. Let's look at the 5-day. Aside from this giant spike, yeah, 1770 was about as low as it's hit for several days in a row. So I got stopped out of that one, and could I have had my stop loss at 1775? Let's say. I don't think so. Let me just. Yeah, 1775. That as a stop loss would have been almost a $300 loss. So sticking within my rules, I think there's nothing really I could have done about this one. This big of a drop off from 1806 to 1778. It's a pretty big move, and you see it represented here. I mean, there's another giant one there, but it's tough to handle that volatility in a single trade, not get stopped out. So I mean, I'm okay with that. It was a decent purchase. I don't mind it. The next one is RBA, and this one I'm actually saddened by a little bit, because on this one I really liked the look of this stock when I got in. The last 3 consecutive days had lows in the 42s, and I picked this one up at 41.83. So if you look at the 5-day, say, I got in at 41.83, which is really close to the bottom, like within a penny or two of the bottom. I mean, that's really good. Sort of look at the day, 41.83. That's, as low on the day as you can possibly get. So that's about the best entry I think I've ever had in a stock on the day. And obviously it pulled up here all the way to 42.35. It started to come down, and at about 42.20, I was a little bit nervous because I did not obviously have been doing quite poorly, and I did not want to just sit on a winner until it tanked off. So I put a stop loss at 42.15, which is right here, and it broke through it during this swing down, and then I ended up selling off at 42.11, 42.112 average, which is right. It went down to 42.09, so it wasn't quite at the lowest it was at, but really close. So this is one of those ones where, had I just trusted where I thought it was going, I could have certainly fought through this low swinging and continued on this trend, and probably sold somewhere in here, near, maybe even if I got a little scared here and sold at 42.32, somewhere in there. But I also had to leave for half the day, so I couldn't necessarily be watching this the entire day. But one of the things I really liked about it is, let's pull up the 30-day by day. So one of the things I really liked about it is the last 3 days we had very similar low points. So today was 41.77, the lowest it had been. But you look at 41.90, 41.94, 3 consecutive lower or equal, I guess. I'll look at it on the 3 month because it looks a little cleaner. So you had 3 fairly close, and when I got in, it was right near the bottom of this third. So I thought there's a great deal of potential to move up to 43 even. Because you look back here, it broke through the 43 5 different times over the last 7 days. So I thought getting in at 41.83 was a really good price, and I liked it. So that one I ended up making $127 on, but still feeling like I left a lot at the table. I think I definitely pulled out too soon on that one. DDC is the next one I traded, and this one again, let's look at it on the 1 day so it makes sense, the 5 minute. So this one I'm in at 17.15, out at 17.39. So I came in right here, so it opened at 17.25. It dipped all the way down to 17.08. I got in on the pullback at about 17.15, and then it ramped up here, which I liked. 17.39 is where I got out. So it came up to here, and then I got out. And I'm okay with that because it came out to here, and then I remember this. The volume went way down, and it was sort of leveling at 17.36. And my concern was another pullback back into sort of the 17.20. So I got out there, and obviously it stayed flat most of the rest of the day and pulled up at the end of 17.55. But I'm happy with the exit point at that. That was a $130 profit on a stock that wasn't really moving that much. So I'm pretty happy. The next is AYA. So 25.32 is where it finished. I was in at 25.50, out at 25.26. So this was another one that just had a big sell-off right at the worst time. So I was in at this 25.50. So again, if you look at sort of this period, what I was looking at, volatile in the morning, slowed down, trying to big sell-off, and then it looked like it had some sort of bottoming out right around 25.50. It looked like it had sort of found its low point. And then, of course, it sat there for a little while and then aggressively tanked off again all the way to 25.22. But I stop-lossed it just before that. So I ended up getting out at 25.26. That's a $179 loss. And for this one, a little bit of a rebound, but it never made any steam and ended up finishing, right at a little bit above where I stopped out, but certainly couldn't have handled this second run down to 25.14. So that was a $179 loss. I think overall, I don't mind that. I'm going to look at the 3 months so I can sort of show you what I was looking at. So you had, this was today. So before today, you had 2 down days and basically a break-even day. And I liked sort of that. Again, when I see closes that are similar, you got 1, 2, 3 days where the closes are right around where I can get in. I like that because I feel that that's a good point that has had support in the past for multiple days. And also having a day that's sort of break even after a couple losers, it's often sort of the sellers are running out of steam and looking to push back. So that's why I took that trade. And there really wasn't much I could do. You put your stop in for a reason, and it's to avoid sort of having this happen where all of a sudden you're at 25.15 if you don't watch yourself, because it never recovered close to 25.50. So that was the next one. I'm indifferent about that. Then the next one after AYA was FTT. That's the one I'm currently still in. So this one, FTT, I'm in at 25.60, 64.9. So basically 25.65. So this one opened, tanked pretty good, and 25.69 right here looks like it was where I got in. That's an interesting point to get in. Exactly. There must have been a lot of movement in this area. So I got in here and it tested a few lows lower down to 25.61. I had a stop at 25.49. And it didn't come close to the stop, which was good. and I actually rallied up to 25.82, and I had to sell at 25.90 or 25.92 because I had to leave in the afternoon, so I just had to put a predetermined number in there, and then it sold off a little at the end of the day. So overall in this one, it is up 22 cents from where I bought it, but I still have it, so that's still sort of a ongoing stock. The next is EFN, and this one just didn't again do what I needed it to do in any capacity. So right at $11 and just a tiny bit. So for this one, you see this is the struggle I was looking at. This is the point where it broke down, so it got support at 11, came all the way back up to 11.10, broke down again, and then was getting support at 11 again. So on this chart, I really saw this 11 as being fairly strong support, and I thought if it breaks down below 11, I'm getting out of Dodge because I don't know where it's going from there. So I had a tight stop in at 11, out at 10.94 for the stop, and you can see pretty quickly on its trail down right here, it would have hit 10.94 and then continued all the way down to 10.92. Not much of a rally, didn't get back up to 11, and then obviously near the end of the day tanked down some more and is now at 10.80. So that one didn't work out for me, but I got out at a really good time because bad things were ahead. And then finally HVI. This was an interesting one. When I was looking at it, when I came in, I remember getting in right on this candle. So the day was basically here so far. So it had moved between just over 27, say 27.10, down to 26.70, up to 27.10, down to 26.80. So it had support 26.80 once, twice, up to 27.10 again, and then support again at 26, just over 26.80. So I put a purchase order somewhere in here, and then it filled right here. So I liked my entry point at this point right here, and unfortunately I had a fairly tight stop of 26.65, so right here, and this is one of those ones unfortunately that just stopped me out, you know, by just a few cents. And if I believe I stopped out here before this big upswing, but you can see it came back up to 27.10 again just after stopping me out. So this was one that was too bad that my stop was a little bit tighter, but it would have been tough to catch this up because these are just 5-minute charts, and I remember this being very gappy. Like there's one sell, even you can see right now, they're very spaced apart, the buys and the sells. So that's a review of my day, and actually after reviewing it, I don't feel as bad as I did when the day ended. So overall, I'm 7 trades minus 329, but there's still this one in play. So I have that set at the current price, but we'll see how it does tomorrow. But again, that's 3 winners potentially if this one stays a winner, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 losers. So 3 and 4 isn't terrible. The market itself was pretty much even for the day. The TSX, there's the market. It opened a little bit higher, had a few sell-off points, but overall it was plus 0.12%, so very much break even. And the volume for today compared to other days was fairly low, but not tremendously low. So it was right around sort of, I don't know, a lot bigger than the volume was on Friday for sure. But anyway, I think I'm done with the video. I thank you for watching, and I will be back at it. Whoa. I'll be back at it tomorrow. See ya.